Welcome to, I was going to say chair yoga, but actually it's yin yoga. However, I'm going to recommend you have a chair for today's class. We're going to be doing some deep work on releasing the back. And this is dedicated to all my New England friends who've been shoveling snow, being pounded by many inches of snow. But it's also a good class because the back is one of our primary inhibitors of good health. Back issues can be really restraining for what we can do. And you might notice I have a roll of toilet paper as well. That's for me. I have a summer cold here in Australia, so I may be blowing my nose quite a bit. And I have a little bin over there that I can duck it in, so that's an optional extra. So let's come into a comfortable seated position to start with the pelvis slightly tilted forward. So there's a slight arch in the low back, and already many of you will feel that from any kind of snow shoveling. So any contraction in the low back will be felt as tight. Let's start with some lubrication of the spine. As you exhale, slide your hands down to your knees and drop the chin for a moment. And as you do, tuck the tailbone under, draw the navel back into the spine, let the shoulder blades come apart, and really let the head go. So the back of the spine looks very rounded. Squeeze the buttocks a little bit more so you tuck the tailbone a little bit more, getting a little extra traction in that low back region. Drop the head a little more. And then as you inhale, slowly bring the hips forward again, tilting the pelvis forward. Slide the hands up the legs, squeeze the shoulder blades and lift the chin. So we feel these two extremes of the back, extension and flexion. And to lubricate the joints along the vertebra of the spine, let's connect those two movements with the breath. Exhale, slide the hands down, tuck the tailbone, draw the navel in, shoulder blades apart, drop the chin. Inhale, slide the hands back, squeeze the shoulder blades, arching the back. Open the chest here, wide collarbones, lift the chin, even push the lower jaw up, just stretching out the neck or throat. And continue, exhale, round. Inhale, arch. That's it, just moving the spine. You can move quickly or slowly. And the next time you come to neutral pause, float both hands above the head and leaning to the left. Drop the left hand to a block or the ground, leaning over and tractioning out. Let the neck come down. Now bring that top elbow, that right elbow, back a little more and look up to the ceiling. And then imagine you're trying to bring that right elbow to touch the left elbow. So you're bringing it over towards that left elbow. And simply rotating those two directions back up, look up. Exhale, roll down, bringing the elbows towards each other. 2 or 3 more in your own time. And the next time you lift up, float up, and we'll go to the other side. So the same principles here, rolling back to look up, almost like you're doing a back bend to look up at the ceiling, and then elbow towards elbow. Getting that twisting motion into your lateral flexion. And then floating up, bringing the hands up, and bringing the left hand behind the back. I like to grab hold of the waistline of my pants, and it brings my left shoulder back. Right hand crosses over the front, anchoring onto that front leg. And if you look at that left chicken wing, you can flap it a little bit. And you'll notice that as you flap it, the shoulder blade retracts and protracts. So flap it back, squeeze it back, so it's bringing that left shoulder back more. Take a deep breath in, grow tall here, relaxing the right shoulder. And then begin turning the head to the front shoulder. Inhaling the head to neutral, chin over chest. Exhaling the head to the back shoulder. So the only dynamic part of this movement is the head turning. The rest is in that static twist. Again, the speed at which you're turning is in proportion to the speed of your breathing. If you want to slow it down, slow the breath down. Inhale the head to neutral, release and unwind for a moment. And then we'll go to the other side. Right hand creates the twist, left hand anchors to the leg. Grow tall and moving just the head left to right at the speed of your breath. And then pause, release. And we're going to move to the chair now. So just set yourself up so your chair is on your mat. That prevents it from slipping on the floor. And bring the chair to the top of the mat, reversing its direction. So the chair is facing towards the bottom of the mat and you're next to the seat. I'll turn sideways so you can see what's going on behind the scenes. And we're simply going to start by coming back into child's pose with the hands resting, the arms resting on the chair with the forehead resting on the edge of the chair. Slow the breath down and relax into this elevated child pose. Keep relaxing the shoulders, keep sinking back. Inhale, slowly come up and resting your forearms on the seat of the chair. Extend the left leg back behind you and push through the left heel. So the left leg is straight, elbows are leaning on the chair, and we're getting that first posterior stretch from really the toes, from the bottom of the toes through the arch of the foot into the Achilles tendon, into the calf, and the more you push back, the more it might travel up towards the hamstring. It's not a great hamstring stretch because we're not folded, but it's not bad. If that right knee is uncomfortable, just put some padding underneath it. Let's be here for 5 more breaths. Inhale, bringing that head back. Let's come back to child pose for a moment. Forehead resting on the chair. Arms resting on the chair. Let's inhale, come up, extending the opposite leg, the right leg this time. Same deal, just using the weight of the torso, resting on the chair. Push the elbows against the chair. Hopefully it's a padded chair. If not, put something under your elbows. And use the force of that push to stretch the right posterior chain, toes, arch, Achilles tendon, calf, a little bit of hamstring, back of the knee. Five more breaths. Exhale, gently release, come to child pose. And in child pose, you can rock the hips from side to side, just helping that low back tension release. And then slowly come up, keeping the elbows on the chair, curl the toes, lift the hips, and keeping the elbows rested on the chair, head towards the front of the chair,
Push the hips backwards, straightening the legs, coming into this chair dolphin. Really try to straighten those legs and rotate the inner thighs towards each other and back. So you're getting more hamstring as you push the hips back. Your head might be resting on the chair, it might not. Let the head go. For 3, 2, and 1. Lift the head, walk the feet towards the chair, and bring the hands down onto the seat of the chair. Now you can bring the chair to the back of your mat facing the front, and you can take a seat. So we're just using that chair to get a little deeper into some of the stretches we do on the floor. Widen the feet. The toes point out, so my feet, my heels are on the edges of the mat. I'm going to do some deep forward bends here. Bring the elbows to the thighs. And if you have a block handy, you can bring the block right into the center of the feet on its tallest setting. And then if you don't have a block, that's okay. Bring the hands to the block or the floor, straight arms. The head can be neutral for now. Slowly start to bend the elbows, starting to traction out the low back, and it's also going to open the hips. At a certain point, you're going to hit a spot that just feels really good. And at that spot, you can pause and let the head dangle. Now, if you haven't reached that spot, you feel like you could go deeper, you can cross the arms and dangle the weight of the torso down between the legs. So the main thing is you feel a back traction here, hip opening, relaxed neck, relaxed head. At any time it gets too much, dial it back, come to a position that just feels good. You can be using the block for that. Elbows bent a little less. Let the breathing slow down, which it will naturally do in a forward fold. The nervous system will start to calm down. If you have any blood pressure issues, you might find that you have to bring the head up a bit. Five more breaths here. Now to come out, we come out slowly. We can start with the hands on the block, straight arms. The chin comes away from the chest. Then you can go back to elbows on thighs. And in this position, maybe turn the head left and right a few times. Just notice how the neck feels.
Maybe nod the head a little bit up and down. Now to come out the rest of the way, use the hands to walk along the thighs, supporting the weight of the torso as you come up, and bring your hands into the small of the low back. So you might have to shuffle your hips forward if you're sitting towards the back of the chair, and just bring your hands, spread the hands out over the kidney area, that low back on either side, and you have two little chicken wings there, left and right elbows. Just flap them a little bit. And maybe rub and massage that area you just tractioned out, the kidney area, with those hands. A little bit of stimulation there. All right. So a little bit of hip movement here. So hips are obviously connected to the low back. Sit towards the edge of your chair. Knees hip width distance apart, and simply open left knee out to the left so that the left knee points somewhat 90 degrees out towards that side, and then close, and then the other side. So simply moving one thigh left and then one thigh right, just moving inside the hip joint. Abduction, adduction. You can add a little bit of resistance here. As the thigh opens one direction, you can push your hand against the direction of the opening or closing, and that's just simply going to activate those muscles a little bit more that work the hips. But it's also going to give you a little upper body workout. Now the next time that right thigh comes out to the right, pause. And start to heel toe the left leg out to the left. So you get that nice hip opening. On the floor, this might be more like a tree pose where you've got that right foot up against the left thigh. Now, interestingly, I got a cramp right here in that right leg. So I'll reposition myself. Now, when we're snow shoveling, obviously the hips are going to get tight. So this is a nice way to open the hips gently. But let's also open the chest and the collarbone area by bringing both hands to the back of the chair and just holding on to the back of the chair, down low. So we create this gentle stretch through the upper body. This is going to arch the back. You might try some gentle head turns, looking over the back shoulder. Gentle being the name of the game. Inhaling the head to neutral. Exhaling, turning towards the front shoulder. So we don't forget our neck when we hold this hip opening and this chest opener. Inhale ahead to neutral. And then leaning towards that front thigh, rest your elbow, your right elbow on that right thigh. Keep that back leg straight, activated, and float that left hand up and out. So we're getting that nice, long, supported stretch through the ribs, through the arm, down into the hip, down into that left leg. Whole left side really opening up here. And once again, because we've been snow shoveling, let's bring a little bit of activity into this shape by spinning, turning, rotating that straight arm all the way around into a huge circle. Nice and slow, just working the shoulder joint here, the neck can relax, head can relax. And then you might start tracking the hand with your eyes. So your head is getting involved, your neck is getting involved. Hopefully you don't get too dizzy. The next time it comes back up and over, we're going to reverse direction. And once again, tracking. And the next time that hand comes up, we'll come up with it. Oop, and up. Grab the chair for support. And carefully heel toe the legs back to center. Let's do some more hip openings, left and right, with or without resistance. I'm going to stay with resistance. And the next time that left knee opens to the left, pause. And we're going to heel toe that right leg to the right. And try to keep the pinky toe of that right foot down. Sometimes there's a tendency to come up on the inner edge. And that way it's going to give the ankle joint a nice stretch, that outside ankle joint. So you get the big stretch down through the adductor, somewhat through the side calf and shin. And then grab the back of the chair. Bring the shoulders back, lifting the head, letting the front body smile and open and expand. Once again, when we do a lot of snow shoveling, we tend to be in that hunched curl position a lot. So we're trying to teach the body to stay open in the winter. Bodies like to curl up in the winter. Can you sit up taller, almost as if you're floating off the chair, without losing the integrity of the legs, the feet on the ground? Deep breath in as you exhale, leaning to the left side, elbow on the left thigh. And we can start simply by right hand on hip for a moment, just to feel that stretch. Pushing the hip down as you lean to the left. And now we can sweep that arm up and over. As you bring the arm up, let your attention drift back to that right leg and push it back into the ground. So the right foot's pushing away, right fingers reaching forward. It's almost like we're lengthening with each breath. There's a tendency just to soften and stop the stretch here. Let's add arm rotations, tracking the hand with the eyes. No need to go fast. Reverse direction when you find that natural U-turn position. and use that momentum to bring you up. Grab the chair for stability. Slowly and carefully heel toe the feet back together. So another great back release here is in this position, sitting on the edge of your chair. Grab the knees or the thighs just above the knees. And start to slowly turn the torso. It's like the spine is a big wooden spoon, and the hips are a big pot of soup. And you're simply rotating the spoon, turning the spoon in the hips, rotating the torso about the hips. Now, to get the maximum benefit from this, you want to really let the joints soften, so the wrists, the elbows, the shoulders, and the neck all become soft. So your circle gets bigger and bigger. And you get this nice limp orbit. Everything loose in the juice. And the next time you come up, we'll pause. Take a breath. Relax. And we'll start the orbit in the opposite direction. Three more circles. Two. And last one. And pause. Extend both legs out in front of you. Hold the chair. You're sitting on the edge of the chair still. And cross the right ankle over the left. Dorsiflex the feet so the toes come back to you. And maybe with one hand holding the chair, one hand sliding down the leg, you can forward fold. If the chair feels stable, you can bring both legs down. Slowly come up. Keeping the legs crossed. Float the hands out to the sides. And give yourself a big hug with the right elbow on top of the left elbow. So hugging and pulling down the shoulders here. You might like to have a strap close by. Keep the elbows locked and let the hands try to come together as close as they can. If they can't get any closer and there's a space between them, connect the space with your strap. So each hand is holding one end of the strap. If they do come together, bring them together, pushing palm against palm or fingers against palm. So you get that nice traction in the upper back. Inhale, lift the arms up as high as you can and look up. And then drop the elbows towards your belly button and drop the hands towards your feet. Drop your head towards your hands. Inhale, come up slowly, keeping the bind. We'll do that one more time. Lift elbows, lift eyes, lift hands. Keep lifting. Arch the back a little bit more. And then exhale, slowly drop the elbows down towards the navel, hands towards the feet, head towards the hands. And slowly come up. If you've got the strap, you can release the strap. Unbind the arms. Grab the sides of the chair for stability. And slide that right ankle up over the knee and bend the knee. So you're in a figure 4 here. Figure 4. And grabbing the knee and the foot, start to drop down over that bent leg and then back up. So we're hinging forwards and backwards at the speed of your breathing. Inhale up, exhale down. Look for your delicious point, particularly in the piriformis and the glutes and the lower back on that right side, and hang out there for a bit. So you might be down a long way, you might be down a short way, you might rest your chin in your hands, or you might dangle over that front leg like a lioness on the bough of a tree. Five more breaths here. Really try and let the head go. So that whole back area from the neck down to the glutes is all letting go. When you're ready to come out, use your hands to press you up. Roll the shoulders back and down, keeping the figure 4. Turn the head to the left. Inhale the head to neutral. Exhale the head to the right. And gently release that right leg. Blow your nose if you have to. And this time we're going to cross left ankle over right, dorsiflex the feet. Again, if your chair is stable like mine, you can just bring both hands forward into the stretch, or you can hold one hand to the chair. Look for your delicious spot, the golden spot, just right. That's where you want to hang out. And the head can dangle.
Slowly walk the hands up and bring the arms out to the side. Hug ourselves with the opposite elbow on top, so probably left over right this time. Pull down the shoulders, even that should feel good. All that tension from those tight traps from snow shoveling. Once again, your strap, your strap might be a nice way to connect the hands if the hands don't reach each other. So let's bring the hands together, strapped or not. You can squeeze a little more. If you've got the strap, you can walk the hands a little closer. Try to keep the elbows locked. So the goal really isn't for the hands to be together. The goal is to keep the elbows locked and separate the shoulder blades. And we'll lift up, lift up, lift up the elbow and hands and look up. Getting that almost like a back bend going here. And then exhale, elbow to navel, hands towards knees, head towards hands. Inhale, push the heel into the ground, lifting the torso, keeping the hands in your bind, and then we'll repeat that. Lift, 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 look up. Come back a little bit. Exhale, folding forward, bowing towards that extended leg. And slowly coming up, releasing the hands for the moment. Let's bring the hands to the back of the chair again and open the chest again. Collarbones widen, chin lifts, arching the low back. Squeeze the shoulder blades. Release the counter pose and slide the left ankle up over the knee and bend. So we're back in the figure four. Sometimes I like to put a bolster over that figure four, and we can just lean forwards and backwards a few times. Using your inner ears, your somatic ears, your body ears, to listen for where that stretch just feels so good. Not too much, not too little. And sometimes you might go a little too much and you go, oh, I've gone past it. See if you can hit the sweet spot and hang out there in whatever way that feels or looks. You might add weight to the figure four with your elbows or your bolster. You might dangle. Really feel it go down into your piriformis here. And then slowly pressing your hands into the thigh, come up gradually. Noticing how that feels. And bringing the figure forward to a close. Let's reposition the chair to the top of the mat, reverse direction, just like we started. And once again, I'll turn that sideways so you can see me. If you want to have your mat set up sideways, you can. That way you can also see me. And we'll come back to our downward dog here. Walking the feet back, hands on the chair. Let the head nestle between the arms. Straight legs, rotate inner thighs back, push the hips back. And then slowly lift the head, lean your weight into your hands on the chair, bend the knees, and we're going to come down onto the ground beside the chair. So the chair's there, I'm turned sideways so I can scuttle my hips forward, lay on my back and bring my legs up onto the chair. Encourage your low back to relax into the mat. Encourage your shoulder blades to soften. And bringing the hands out 45 degrees, palms face up. Now for this next segment, it's important that the chair is stable. So being on the mat will help. Pushing the chair against a heavy piece of furniture or the wall will help. And if for any reason the chair is too high in this next section, feel free to use the couch, which should be a bit lower. So starting with the legs in this supported position, calves on the leg chair. I like to grab the front legs of the chair just for stability. And slide one foot back to the edge of the chair so the arch is over the edge of the chair. And then the other one. So my feet are on the edge of the chair. The front of the chair wants to lift up a little bit here, so I'm holding on to the front legs. Push the arches down over that front edge and lift the hips up, coming into a bridge pose. Now if you hold the legs of the chair, you're going to get a nice shoulder decompression here, shoulders away from the neck, as you feel that big stretch. Now this is a position that you might sustain and hold if it feels good. It's a position you can explore. You might lift the hips a little higher and notice How does that feel? Or you might come back down and rest the legs on the chair. And maybe squeeze one knee into the ribs at a time. And then return the leg back to the chair. So there's a few variations here. I'm going to come down slowly, one vertebra at a time, and rest my legs back on the chair. Release the legs of the chair and pull just the right knee back and squish it into my ribs. And then the left. Return the right, squeeze the left. Return the left. And scuttle the hips a little bit to the right, just a little bit. So you can drop that right leg onto the floor. Extend it. Toes curled up towards the ceiling. While the left knee remains at rest on the chair, so your hips are slightly skewed to the right. And then bring both hands out 90 degrees, palms up. Three more breaths here. Then unskewing the hips, bring both legs back onto the chair. You have the option here of another bridge pose if you like. Or you might just rest then. If you're in bridge, slowly roll down. Return to static back. Skew the hips to the left and drop the left leg. Toe pointed up, hands out 90 degrees, palms up. Inhale, bend that left knee and float that left leg back to join the right leg. Unskew the hips. Clasp the hands behind the neck, the head, the thumbs pointing down the back of the neck. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, lift the head up into a little crunch and wrap the forearms around the skull. Just traction out the upper back. Low back stays imprinted on the mat. Slide your feet back towards you so you curl up into a little ball. Keep supporting the head and carefully roll to one side in that little ball. Cradle the head. The head nestles down onto that arm. And gently, carefully sit up, either staying on the floor. Sometimes I like to grab a block and sit on the block. Or you can come back to the chair if you like. And notice how the back is at the end of practice today. Hopefully there's no more snow shoveling for you tonight. Hopefully it can wait till the morning. So your back can have that nice repose and recovery. Take care of your backs. Namaste.